Welcome to the Explainer. We are jumping straight into something I absolutely love today, a super tactile object lesson called the unbreakable string. Sometimes those really massive, hard to wrap your head around concepts are just so much easier to grasp when we can ground them in something physical, something we can actually hold right in our hands. And that's exactly what our source text does today. It takes an everyday, ordinary item and uses it to unpack the sheer magnitude of divine love. Let's get right into it.
Okay, I want you to picture something with me. Imagine you're holding a single piece of thread in your hands. You wrap it around your index fingers, right? You pull your hands apart, and you just give it a really sharp, hard tug. What happens? It's a pretty simple question for sure, but man, it really sets the stage for everything we're going to unpack today.
So as you probably guessed, that tiny, thin thread, it's super easy to break. If it was wrapped around your fingers, you could literally snap it with just one little pull. There's just this fundamental fragility to a single thread, On its own, it simply doesn't have the structural integrity to handle much pressure or tension at all. It hits its limit incredibly fast and then, snap, it's gone.
Now, let's compare that fragile, single thread, the one that snaps so easily, to a giant, thick rope. The physical difference here is absolutely dramatic. A single string is totally weak, but a thick rope? It's almost impossible to break no matter how hard you pull on it. And our source material really wants us to sit with that massive gap in strength between these two physical states.
But how exactly do we get from a tiny, fragile thread to this unbreakable rope? Well, the magic happens when that same delicate string is multiplied. When it gets wrapped around itself over and over and over again, the whole thing shifts. The material itself hasn't fundamentally changed, right? But the structure has. By continuously layering all those tiny threads together, you suddenly create something that can bear immense weight and tension without failing. It's a real game changer.
And this brilliantly ties into our source text, drawing straight from the book of Ephesians to describe the literally immeasurable scale of God's love. So this object lesson of the string and the rope, it isn't just about physical strength. It's a metaphor. It's painting a picture of a love that is so incredibly substantial, so multi-layered, and just so immense that our human metrics completely fail to quantify it.
Let's just slow down for a second to really appreciate the sheer spatial magnitude of this concept. The source material lays out these specific dimensions of love: wide, long, high, and deep. It covers literally every physical dimension conceivable. Think about that. This isn't just some flat, one-dimensional feeling we're talking about. It's a fully encompassing, three-dimensional reality. It's way larger, far more expansive, and infinitely stronger than the single thread of our own capacity.
Okay, so here's the absolute crucial point. How does this actually apply to us on a random Tuesday? We all experience bad days, right? We all have those moments where we feel profoundly scared or we make a super frustrating mistake. And in those moments, our own patience, our joy, or our emotional resilience, well, it often feels exactly like that single, thin thread. Under the heavy pressure of a bad day, our own strength feels like it is right on the verge of snapping.
But in those fragile, messy moments, the lesson offers this incredibly powerful shift in perspective. You aren't actually relying on a thin, easily broken thread to keep your life intact. No way. The source text reassures us that God's love is a giant, unbreakable rope that holds you together. When your own personal string snaps, the rope is still there, completely intact. It's the difference between relying on your own super limited capacity versus resting in something that is literally built to withstand any tension you throw at it.
So you might be wondering, how do we actually hold on to that rope in our daily lives? Well, the source material lays out some really clear, practical steps. First up, it encourages talking to Jesus every day through prayer. Second, it describes the act of praying as actually wrapping yourself up in His love, kind of like those multiple threads wrapping together to build that strong rope. And third, it requires an internal assurance, just knowing deep down that He is always listening and is never ever gonna let go.
To make this absolutely actionable right now, the text even gives us a simple closing prayer. It says, "Dear God, thank you for your big, strong love. Help us to talk to you every day. Thank you for never letting go of us." Actually speaking these words out loud is framed as a way to immediately start wrapping yourself up in that unbreakable love. It takes the whole thing from a nice abstract thought right into everyday practice.
As we wrap up the Explainer today, I want to leave you with a final thought to really chew on. We're all going to face moments of tension. That's just life for sure. So, when your own patience, or energy, or courage feels like a fragile thread today, when you feel like you are literally just one pull away from snapping, how will you intentionally choose to let go of the thread and grab on to the unbreakable rope?